Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to do something a little bit different. We're going to review my first ever beer from Peru, so a huge thank you to Vivian for bringing this beer to me when she was down there recently. Really looking forward to this. We're actually going to go to the oldest craft brewery in Peru today, which is from the capital city Lima. So we're going to Cerveceria Barbarian and we're having a taste of the Lima Pale Ale today. So this guy comes in at 6.1%, as the name suggests it is a pale ale, although 6.1% is quite heavy in terms of alcohol content for a pale ale, and you know, it should be really quite nice. This is quite a prolific brewery. They've produced around 30 or so different beers over the couple of years that they've been going, and you know, it's supposed to be one of the most popular craft breweries in Peru as well, so it's a good place to start. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Cerveceria Barbarian. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beers based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. I will make one for all the Peruvian beers that I'll review for you, and I will just try to add to that whenever I can, of course, but Peruvian beer is quite hard to find. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Cerveceria Barbarian then. So Cerveceria Barbarian is the oldest craft brewery in Peru, and they were founded back in 2009 by three friends. So this was Ignacio Schwalb, Juan Diego Vasquez and Diego Rodriguez, and apparently they learned to brew from researching on the internet, and then they brewed together in a garage and sold their beer to local bars, which really helped them become quite well known. And they did get picked up by quite a famous chain of restaurants called A1, and that really got people in Lima knowing about their beer, if you like. But apparently in the beginning it was really difficult for them to get a hold of malt and hops, and they actually only found a manufacturer of steel tanks in the Falkland Islands, or Malvinas, however you want to call them. We're not going to get into that political debate, but they began also to import malt from Germany, hops from America, and they brought in their yeast from Belgium as well. But one day they were drinking in an import beer bar, and later they returned and offered their beers to the bar to sell, and then word of mouth really just kind of helped them spread their beers all throughout Lima. And today they're exporting, I think they've got like they were saying some on their website, there's somewhere around 400 bars or something like that stock these beers. They export, I think, up to America, they export to Chile, Brazil and Spain, I think, as well. They brew around 30,000 litres of beer per month, and they also have 2 bars. They're working on their third one, and they've got around 80 employees as well. But the idea behind the name Barbarian was the fact that barbarians were those from out with the Holy Roman Empire who drank beer that they sort of prepared themselves, and they were also a little bit nomadic, and the three founders kind of say they are all quite like that as well. They quite like that idea, so they chose to make that the name of their brewery, which is pretty cool. Of course, the Roman Empire was well known for drinking wine and things like that. Wine is very popular in South America, Chile, Argentina and things like that. I'm not sure how many Peruvian vineyards and things there are right enough. I'll need to ask Vivian about that. But from what I gather, there is somewhere around 50 different craft breweries as of early 2018 in Peru, which is really, really cool. It is always cool to see that this whole craft beer bug is spreading to lots of different countries and things. So yeah, more power to them, and hopefully this is a good beer. Hopefully I can review a few more of the Peruvian craft beers at some point in the future. I'm sure I will go down there with Sam and Vivian at some point, so you might well see a few more Peruvian craft beers on the channel at some point. But yeah, really interesting brewery, this one. If you want to learn a little bit more, do check out the brewery website. It is all in Spanish right enough, but you can use Google Translate and all that, and you can follow them on Facebook and things like that and keep up to date with what's going on. But over the 9 years or so they've been going, they've produced about 30 different beers, and quite recently they've been doing a few collaborations and stuff like that. There are collaborations there with the likes of Evil Twin and some of the better known European and American breweries as well. So I think these guys, you know, they will start to get their name out there a little bit more over the next little while. But really, really cool to be able to review this one for you. So let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So like I said to you, this one is a 6.1% pale ale. I'm guessing it's an American style pale ale. This one, it's hopped with Simcoe, which is one of my favourite American hops actually. As I said, 6.1% is quite heavy actually. for a pale ale. Normally you would be getting into IPA territory with that, but there you can see it really nicely presented. This one, all the beers have quite a similar style of artwork actually. You can see on the top of the bottle there is the Barbarian symbol on the bottle cap, but yeah, nicely presented one there. It tells you a little bit about the craft beer revolution in Lima and things like that on the back in Spanish, but as I say, I don't have any Spanish training at all, so I'm not going to even try and read that for you, but should be a really nice beer. So without further ado, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Nice little bit of smoke on the opening there. That bottle cap nearly blew my hand off there, I would say. But yeah, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. I'm guessing with this one I will need to pour it a little bit carefully and just let that head kind of calm itself down. It's obviously just been rattled around a little bit when it's been on the plane and things like that. But yeah, pretty much you're getting the colour that you would expect from an American style pale ale. But in fairness, as I was saying, they actually use Belgian yeasts in their beer, which does kind of make sense. You always get massive heads on the Belgian beers, but we'll leave it like that just now and just let it settle, and we'll put the last little bit of it in. But yeah, as you can see, and as you would expect from the American sort of pale ale style, it's a nice kind of rich golden straw colour. There's quite a bit of carbonation just going up towards the bottom of that head there. I'm guessing that will be one of the kind of after effects of the Belgian yeast, right enough. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see the beer is quite transparent. One or two bigger bubbles sticking up towards the side of the glass, and as you can see, quite a lot of bubbles just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. In terms of colour of the head, I would say it's pretty much a perfect white head. Maybe a little touch of creaminess to it, but I would say mainly a kind of perfect white head on this beer. But you know, overall, it does look pretty nice and pretty much what you would expect from a pale ale. When I open the bottle up, you can smell some of that nice kind of passion fruit kind of thing from the Simcoe hops. But we'll take a closer look at that aroma and just see how we get on. Yeah, so with this one, the fruity character is quite interesting. Definitely a little bit of passion fruit in there. There's maybe like a little bit of lychee or something like that. There's almost a kind of peary element to and almost a kind of peary apple orchard kind of element to the aroma with this beer. But yeah, definitely passion fruits, which is what you'd expect from the Simcoe hop. A little bit of kind of floral and grassy character again, which is what you would expect. But the malt base on this one, it's interesting because you can definitely smell in this beer that they've used a Belgian yeast. I'm certain of it because it's got a bit of that kind of doughy, bready, yeasty sort of thing going on. There's a little bit of biscuity sweetness in there, definitely, but the yeasty quality, the way the malty aromas are coming out of this beer, you can definitely pick up the fact that this has got a Belgian yeast in it, which is quite interesting. It's such a distinctive aroma. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely kind of big, doughy, bready, yeasty kind of things going on. A little bit of an almost kind of clovey spice to it as well, actually, which is quite interesting. So it may be a little bit like a Belgian pale ale, and in fairness, if they've used a Belgian yeast, to be honest, that would explain why the ABV in this one is a little bit higher than you'd normally expect for a pale ale. But yeah, it does smell nice, as I say. Fruity characters in there, a little bit of a biscuity sweetness coming out of it as well, I would say. But yeah, you definitely can smell a little bit. I wonder if there's a bit of Carapils or Cara Munich or something like that in this beer, because it does have a little bit of that nice kind of white German bready quality and some of the biscuity aromas. But as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one now. So this one is the Lima Pale Ale from Cerveceria Barbarian from Lima, the capital city of Peru. Once again, a huge thank you to Vivian for giving me this beer. So let's get stuck in. Slàinte, skål, salud. Yeah, that's an interesting one, that. What I was saying about it being a kind of Belgian style pale ale, I think holds true. There you can see, when I've put in the last in the bottle, you can see it has definitely got a little bit more hazy. So that will change the flavour a little bit slightly. Yeah, you know, this beer is definitely a sort of Belgian style pale ale. It really has that kind of that quality to it. It's actually it's quite nice actually. I'm surprised though that when this is the first kind of craft brewery in Peru, I'm surprised that they've gone with a Belgian yeast, to be honest with you, because it does, in fairness, when you think about how hot Peru must actually be with how close it is to the equator and things like that, you know, it must be like really, I can't imagine this beer being like a sort of crisp sipper. It is quite heavy in its alcohol content as well. This is more of a tasting beer rather than a session beer, if you like, and normally I would associate the pale ale with being kind of a session beer, so it is quite an interesting choice for them to go for Belgian yeasts. But it is a nice beer, I'll definitely say that about it. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say middle of the palate, the middle of your palate in this one, where all these nice malty flavours come out, you can feel that nice white bready quality there, that just blankets the middle of your tongue. You can feel the nice doughy, bready, yeasty qualities on top of that from this Belgian yeast that they've used in there. You can feel there's a nice little bit of a biscuity sweetness coming out of it as well. That's right in the middle of the palate. And it is interesting just how you've got that base layer, and then the nice sort of the nice sort of biscuity notes just sitting on top of that. But it's a really lovely. It's nice how that malt base just kind of goes together. It's fairly simple in its concept, but it just goes together really quite well. In terms of the hoppy side of things, in the back corners of the palate, you've got a little bit of bitterness there, a little bit of earthy bitterness, I would say. Then as you come further forward along the sides of the palate, it gradually evolves to be a nice kind of spicy, floral, aromatic sort of thing. It's really nicely done. And then of course round the very front curve of the tongue, it's a little bit lighter and more grassy and things like that. And you can just feel that in there, it's really nice. And then just behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble where those nice fruity, juicy esters start to come out of the beer. So as you would expect with Simcoe, it's a nice kind of passion fruity note that's coming out of this one. As you progress further and further into the flavour, it maybe becomes a little bit more like a sort of apricot-y flavour. And you maybe do get a little bit of a kind of peary flavour out of this one as well, which is quite interesting. And as you go further into the aftertaste, those doughy, bready qualities of the beer and some of the biscuity sweetness as well, they're just lingering there along with some of the slightly spicy floral aromatic notes as well, which is really nice. I mean, this is it's a beer that's quite simple in its concept, if you like, but it's just done really quite nicely. So thumbs up to Cerveceria Barbarian for this one. They've done a good job of that. As I say though, it's quite, to me this beer is quite a surprise, because you wouldn't think this is the sort of craft beer that Peruvians would kind of go for, if that makes sense. To me, I would have thought they would want something that's kind of nice and light and drinkable. I love Belgian beers, and I love Belgian style beers and Belgian IPAs and things like that, but I just would not have expected that from Peru at all, especially from the first Peruvian craft brewery. You'd maybe expect something like this from one of the ones that comes a little bit later on in the mix, if you like, but fair play to them for kind of going with that and experimenting with it. More power to them. They've done a nice job of the beer. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say this beer is at the higher end of mid-bodied. Carbonation's quite crisp on this one. The carbonation is quite active. The mouthfeel overall, it does have a little bit of an oily character to it, but it's got quite a big, doughy sort of feel at the same time as well. In terms of the hoppiness, there is a little bit of hoppy bitterness to this one, but it's not going to blow your head off. I think it's only around 30 or 40 IBUs, this beer. Just going from the flavour, nice bit of juicy fruity quality in there, and in the malt base you've got a good balance between that kind of smooth bready quality and just a little bit of the kind of malty sweetness as well. But overall it's a nice beer. It's one that's definitely a really interesting one, I think, to review as well. But as I say, an unusual, I didn't quite expect this from a Peruvian craft beer, especially from the oldest brewery in the country. But they've done a nice job with it, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. It makes me really interested to try some of their other things, especially their regular IPA, because I really do love Belgian IPAs, so I think that one could be quite an interesting beer to review. So hopefully I can get Vivian to get me a few more of these. But yeah, really interesting beer, this one. So if you get the chance to try this, I recommend that you do. It's definitely one that isn't quite what you expect, but it is nicely done. So if you get the chance to try any of these Cerveceria Barbarian beers, then definitely have a go at it. But yeah, I think that's a good place to kind of sign off with this one. A really interesting beer, not quite what I expected. but very nicely done, I would say. It's 6.1%. It is a bit heavy for a pale ale, but you know, it's a nice kind of single hopped beer. The Simcoe comes out of this beer really quite nicely. So yeah, if you like the Simcoe hop and you like Belgian style IPAs, this one is exactly something that you'll enjoy. So yeah, let's leave it at that. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Cerveceria Barbarian as well. If you are watching from Peru, please do let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review or that you reckon I should try. But it'd be really cool to hear from you guys and learn a little bit more about the craft beer scene in Peru. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure you follow them on Facebook, check out their website and stuff like that, check out my social media and things as well, and I will catch you guys very soon. This was the Lima Pale Ale from Cerveceria Barbarian, my first ever Peruvian craft